So now we've got into our stride. This is part 3 of the Django ORM series. So this is simple AND queries. So this is going to be really, like keep saying the word simple, simply because I'm assuming that you've covered or you've watched the first and second tutorial in this series. So performing AND queries is just really a manipulation of part 2 of this series, the OR queries, by changing OR to AND. It should be pretty simple. So we'll go through the simple AND query, we'll have a look at the SQL code for it, and then we'll do the same thing for the Q objects. And then, like I said, we'll have a look at the SQL code to have a little read of it to get a brief understanding of what's happening in terms of SQL code. And then we'll have a look at the query performance, or at least show you how to see the query performance. So we're using the same code, just continuing from part 2. So now we're going to move over to part 3. So in the view here, I'm just going to name this part 3, and we're just going to continue from there. Okay, so AND queries. So as it suggests, if you're trying to search for something and something else, we can run a AND query to find the thing and the something else that you want to run, and the AND, for example. In addition to that, that sounds like you're going to show this and that. Yes, so it can be kind of an optional thing. So maybe we want to show, in this case, let's have a look at our database and our data. Maybe in this case, we run an AND query to show all of the students who are 20 and they're 21. Obviously, this isn't a good example because there's not much code here, or sorry, there's not much data here, but that's how we can run an AND query. So, for example, we want to show all the students with the surname Austin and the surname's Baldwin. So we use an AND statement to perform that type of action. So let's just take the same function again. You see that I've kind of commented it out. Well, not commented it out, but I've used the underscore there to, so we're not going to utilize that anymore. We utilize this new student list so we can see it within the web interface or the web template that we've set up. Okay, so creating an AND then. So this is a fairly simple process. Like I said, it's going to be exactly the same process as previous tutorial, equals, and then we're going to need the student table and then objects. This time, yeah, we'll run a filter again. Let's go ahead and run a filter. And now we want to define what we want to filter. So let's do, for example, let's have a look at our data. So we want to collect all the data from the users here, where the classroom equals 3 and, for example, the surname equals Baldwin. So let's do that. So, for example, classroom equals 3, and then we use the and student capital student dot objects dot filter again. And then this time, obviously, we're going to filter the first name. And that then, oh, actually, we're going to do the first name and then starts with equals. So class 3 and first name starts with. So obviously, we're selecting the student here. So it should only return one result. There we go. So we just need to finish that off. So let's just return that. We're also going to run the print post and the connection query like we did previously to show the performance and also the SQL code. There we go. So like I said, I've used this underscore here just to comment that out essentially. So now we're going to be utilizing this function to run in the browser. So let's go ahead in the browser. We're going to refresh and we're returning one item as we expected. So for example, if we were to change this to, for example, exclude, so let's run an exclude and see what happens. There we go. So we've simply just excluded that. Obviously, we're not looking for that anymore. So that's kind of removed it. So let's just run the filter again. This time, let's select 2 items. So the class equals 3 and also the name. Let's just change the name to, for example, Shania here. And let's put this in. So it should now return 2 items from the database. Of course it doesn't. What's going on here? So filter classroom. Well, it's not doing this because we're using AND. So I'm suggesting previously that use AND, for example, if you want to get this and you want to get that. Well, in actual fact, it doesn't work that way. I've kind of set you up here to fail. I do apologize. But AND, this is saying that this must be true and this must be true. So both parameters must be true for an item to be selected. This is why when we first started, we selected both the classroom and in the same row, the surname, or the first name, sorry. So that's why this record was returned. So when we use AND, we're saying, well, these parameters must match in the row in order to return that row. So we don't have, oh, we do. So age. Let's just change this data so the classroom for this student here is 1. And that allows us to return 2 items, because what we can say is we can set up a query where we can say the age equals 20 and the classroom equals 1. So I've gone ahead and changed my data. So age equals 20, classroom equals 1. Now there's 2 records that match that criteria. So let's just go ahead and change our query here. So the classroom equals 3 and the classroom should equal 1 and the age is 20. So the classroom is 1 and then the age should equal 20. So this should return, utilizing AND, a result with 2 items. So let's go back and refresh. And there we go, we have our 2 items. So you might already be familiar if you've seen the first tutorial, but we're using print post and print connection queries. Don't forget to import that in. So the reason why we're doing that is it gives us a little bit more information about the query we've just run. So here, for example, you can see that print posts, that's going to output the objects that's returned from the database, in this case 2 items. And then we also see the actual SQL statement. So we're running a select statement here, an SQL select statement. We're selecting everything from the object. So here, for example, we're saying select, apologies, we're selecting everything from this table here, student, and because we've defined that. So this is all the data, student ID, the first name, the surname, the age, and the classroom. So those are all the fields, teacher. These are all the fields in the student table in the model. If we look at the student model here. So we're getting that data from, so the from is the table that we're collecting the data from. And then we're running a clause here, in this case, a where. So this is a select from where statement. So where the classroom equals 1 and the student, that's the table and app, age equals 20. So the time that took to run that is 0.000, so it didn't take any time at all, apparently. Obviously, we're running this on a local machine, so you're probably not going to see any performance there. But that's going to show the performance of the SQL if there is any data there to be shown. So let's go ahead and now run the same thing again, but let's utilize QObjects this time. So as I previously said in the previous tutorial, QObjects just allows us to create more complex queries. Ultimately, we're just utilizing it here for a very simple query, really, but just wanted to start introducing QObjects to you. I haven't actually explained what they are in any detail at the moment, but let's just provide you an example with that. So we'll go ahead again, we'll create this function as per normal, and this time we run the post, if I get my fingers working properly, equals student. So the same type of setup here, objects, and then we're going to run a filter. Okay, so that's in place. And then this time we are now going to run the queue. So let's do a queue object, and then we're going to wrap around the surname, for example, starts with equals. So let's select a surname, in this case, Baldwin. And we then want to run the AND. So let's do that. So in this case, it's just going to be AND. So you can see the difference here in the two setups, here we would run the student.object again. This time we don't need to, we only need to define that once. So and then Q again. And then we just define what we need. So in this case, first name equals, or we're going to do start with, sorry, start with, or starts with, and that's going to equal whatever the first name of the student is. There we go. Okay, so there we have our and utilizing Q. So let's go ahead and now see if this works. So we just need to get rid of that to actually activate it. That's what the URL is trying to select, this function. So let's go back, refresh, and you can see that we've got an error because we haven't returned anything yet. So let's just copy that down. Let's just copy that down. And then let's just run this again. Let's just check to see if we're actually running the server. Okay. And then refresh. And there we go, we returned the student. So it works exactly the same way. Okay. So there we go, a simple AND query, both utilizing Django basic AND query language, and then obviously the Q objects. We've looked at the query for this, the SQL query. I'm just breezing over the SQL queries at the moment, but it kind of gives you a general overview and appreciation that there is SQL behind this, and we can utilize this then to perform our own queries. We will eventually get to the point where we start to actually run queries utilizing SQL. So don't worry, if you're interested in that, that will definitely appear later in this tutorial series. So in addition to that is the query performance. There's a few other tools that I'm going to introduce you to later on in the series to identify and to manage and to monitor query performance. But for now, thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next tutorial.